To Check Out the Stat by your girl Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. Y'all, we in a new location. An update for all of you guys who tune into the show. We are now on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. Now you can listen to it in your ears, so you don't got to worry about going to YouTube. So make sure y'all follow the show, subscribe, listen to it wherever y'all want to listen to it, and check out the stat. So today we're talking NIL, Rihanna, Drewski and his little PR relationship that got exposed, and this weekend's battle between the 2-0 NFL teams is going to be a good one. But before we get started, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. With Underdog, you can earn money by making picks on all of your favorite players. You can try the app in California, Texas, and New York, and the list goes on. If you want to play along, go download Underdog Fantasy, use code STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit. And for this week only, there's 2 free picks for all customers. So make sure you guys go download the app Underdog, use code STAT. You will get 2 free picks. And there's a CeeDee Lamb free pick where you can get 1 yard with your first cash entry. So make sure y'all go do that and download the app. So before we get into the show, we're going to discuss my picks. So Sunday, the Falcons will play the Chiefs. Underdog has Pat Mahomes at 264.5 passing yards. I'm going to go higher for Pat Mahomes. I think that he's going to perform well in this game. I think he'll be able to get a lot of passes in. So sorry to the Falcons. Y'all did y'all thing for your last game, but I think the Chiefs have it this game. Bijan Robinson is at half a rushing and receiving touchdown. That means 1. And receiving. Will he be the one to get the touchdown? I don't know. I'm going to go higher. I'm going to give him hope. We'll see. I'm hoping that the Falcons get a touchdown in for this game. And then Kirk Cousins is at 21.5 completions. 21.5 for Kirk Cousins. Again, I think this is going to be a difficult game for them, so I'm actually going to go higher because I think that he's going to try to do more against the Chiefs. So make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So today, because I'm out of town and not in my regular studio, y'all, we have a very special episode. I'm back with Miss Kiana Dorsey. So for y'all who don't know, now you know. This is one of my best friends. We're going to have a great little discussion, including sports and entertainment. And I think this is the perfect way to give y'all a little bit more of an authentic take from me. Because y'all know I be in the studio by myself, but now I got my girl with me.
Yo.
We have a lot to discuss. I know you can't see her face, but Kiana, make sure you tell the fans, the audience, hello.
Hello, fans. Hello, audience. Honored to be here.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great because I'm with my legendary best friend.
So, yeah, it's always a good time when we're together. So it's going to be a good time for y'all to listen along. So we're going to discuss athletes first with the highest NIL valuations. So basically, when did we go to college? What year was that?
2023. Girl.
No, not graduate, like start.
Oh, 2020.
See, I don't even know the exact date. 2019.
Yes.
Okay, so
2019 cusp.
Yes. So a lot happened, right, when we first went to college, okay? We had, I would say, like a split college experience because one, COVID hit us, right?
Hard.
And it was crazy. How was, just going to college during COVID? I feel like that was a crazy
0
experience.
out of 10. Would not recommend.
Don't recommend. I literally went back home because obviously at that point we didn't know what was going to happen to the world. There was a lot of uncertainty. So yeah, while we were in college, COVID-19 hit. That was crazy. But in addition, I know it's not comparable, but we're going to talk about it. NIL started. So NIL started and became effective July 1st, 2021. So I felt like during our college years, we saw a big change in like students, our lifestyle. First of all, we already had an insane lifestyle because we did both go to school at the University of Miami. You just had to be there. That's all I can say. But we are going to discuss these athletes who are making the most amount of money according to their valuations. So first is Shedeur Sanders. He's a senior, obviously, at Colorado. His valuation is at $5.1 million. So make sure you guys are paying close attention to these numbers because it's real interesting. Second, Livy Dunn, she's an LSU gymnast. She's at $4 million. Arch Manning, he's at $3.1 million, which is crazy because he's now officially a sophomore. He only has 260,000 followers on Instagram. Fourth is Travis Hunter. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. $3.1 million. And then 5, you got Quinn. 6, Jalen Monroe. But everybody's in the ballpark of like $2 million, $5 million, which, you know, these kids are 20, 21, 22, some younger. So I wanted to talk about just first and foremost, Kiana, I'm going to ask you and then I'll give my input. How do you feel about college athletes getting paid this much money?
I am all for it.
Okay.
10 toes. I feel like being a college athlete is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And they expect you to prioritize your sport over your academics. Like you're there on scholarship to succeed in that sport. And at the end of the day, the better you perform on the field or on the court, that's bringing in money for the university. So I feel like the universities were totally profiting off of these young athletes' backs. And then if they were to get injured or if they're slacking off in school, you know, if their career doesn't take off in athletics, they have nothing to fall back on because they barely worked for that degree. Like that was on the back burner. So I'm all here for, you know, them getting their earned money for the amount of labor that they're putting in to the court. Because it's just like the professional leagues, the amount of those people were waking up at the butt crack.
Right. No, we would all be asleep in our dorms bed wherever you were. And it's like these guys, especially the football players, they were up 5 a.m.
You do not
6
see them.
a.m. having to go to class. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've had an athlete in your class and you see their attitude.
They
were not happy to be in these classes.
Like,
and I understand. Because if I had to be waking up at 5 a.m., go to practice, work out, go to team dinner, go to study hall because they were forced to go to study hall, whole thing, like,
that
they
was a
should be getting
full-time
paid.
job.
Yeah.
You're not just a student doing all that for free education that I don't even get to use.
Facts. And some of them do. Like, I did meet, like, typically I felt like a lot of the football players would, like, major in, like, something a little bit more simple so they could focus on their sport. And then there were some that I met who was like, look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I know I'm not finna make it in the league, but I'm gonna get this degree with this scholarship that I had. I had a kid in my class who was, you know, majoring in engineering. I had not seen that. He was like, look, I ain't finna make it, but hey, I'm going to school for free.
I'm gonna be an engineer.
I'm finna get my master's. I'm gonna be an engineer. So, you know, shout out to him for
out.
pursuing what he needed to do because that's hard.
Very.
I couldn't do it.
Ever. There are engineers who only do engineering who are struggling to engineer today. Hello?
Struggling to engineer today.
They're still trying to figure it out.
So to me, this is like an interesting conversation, right? Because I feel like we have a different perspective because we've seen it. Because like, so for example, me and Kiana, and this isn't to say that these students don't have a similar situation, but we did go to school not for our athletic ability.
At all.
We went to school for our brains.
And barely in that. We were in the comm school.
We were communications majors.
We're talking like we STEM.
Don't let us fool you because we were not STEM girlies.
We're smart just through the way we talk.
Right. They said y'all was not STEM. Y'all was not computing nothing. We had a camera, a tripod, and scripts. And for me, it was information, you know, reading a script. So it's like, it's a very different situation. But at the end of the day, y'all ain't coming to watch us. Y'all are profiting off of the athletes who are playing on the field, playing on the court. March Madness was a time when Miami actually made it that year. It was a good experience. So I like that these students are getting paid. But with them getting paid this large amount of money brings a different sort of audience and a different sort of attention that they're not necessarily asking for. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, do you feel like these athletes who are making millions of dollars, do you feel like this gives them unrealistic expectations for their future? Because what happens when, you know, you're making that amount of money, say you don't make it, you know, in your sport, or you have to take a different route? Do you feel like that will affect them in the future, or do you think they'll be okay because social media will continue to be around regardless?
I mean, I feel like, what's it called? Financial savviness, I guess, for lack of a better term, like being smart with money, that's just something that you learn through time. And you could compare it to rich kids,
Mm-hmm.
like living off mommy and daddy's paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they prepared for when, to get a real job? Like, there's a whole bunch of things that college can only prepare you for so much. But I feel like that money is definitely reflective of whatever talent they have in that moment. And if they don't make it, at least they, hopefully, if they save properly, they have a fund to fall back on.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's totally the move to go to, instead of being like, oh, well, you're not accustomed to being a millionaire. It's like, I earned it,
right,
and I'll navigate it just how anybody who like steps into a career and makes a whole bunch of money.
Right. I would say, so the way that I feel about it, I feel like there's no, and I say this about a lot of things, like even just like entering a space where you have a lot of eyes on you, entering a space where you finally are making like those millions, they really need to teach core skills, like a money management class, things like that, because I mean, you do have people, who are making a lot of money, and they just need to get by. They need to have a certain GPA to be able to continue playing their sport. They'll be taking like, algebra or like college, like English, like reading, like very basic classes, but it would make more sense if there were classes that would benefit a person, like entrepreneurship, but something that's tangible. Like, we don't need something unrealistic that they actually won't be able to focus, because you need them to have these life skills to be able to help them outside of college. But we don't have,
that's across the board, baby.
things like, oh, you're talking about us too.
Hello, help me. I know I ain't got no million to my name, but I'd like to know how to spend my $40, please.
Taxes, like there's a lot.
High school didn't teach us how to write a check, how to file a claim, how to pay a bill. Did that for the first time through the mail.
Yeah.
It's like you have to call to pay. I'm like, what? Y'all don't got email, Apple?
Yeah.
Call?
Yeah.
There's a whole, like, just life.
Yeah.
College kind of missed the mark.
Yeah.
I think. Like, bump the athletes, get us too. Dang.
So, okay, let me ask you this, because this is a really interesting, because we are team school. It's like, get your education.
Get it.
Do you feel like there's some parts of school that's
wasn't worth it?
Scam?
Scam is strong.
That word, right?
Scam
you hear
is
it and you're like,
I had a nice
saying
scholarship from the University of Miami. I very much appreciate my time there. Thank you. So scam is strong. Yeah. I feel like what you put in is what you get out. But do I feel like the whole American educational system could be restructured? Absolutely. To better prepare our kids for success. But I feel like, traditionally the U.S. is geared for us to be a part of consumerism. So they're not going to teach you to be business savvy. They're not going to teach you to make your money work for itself, because they want you to be consumers.
Right. Dang, that was like mic drop. If you have the opportunity to go to school, I always encourage it, because college gives you these life lessons through experiences, through classes, through problem solving, working with different people from all different places and backgrounds, and money. Like, I think that is something that I will never get again. Like, it's the first time where you can kind of just make mistakes without any repercussions after the fact. Once you become like a real adult, it's like, dang, I can't really mess up, and I can't miss this bill. I have to do this, In college, you get away with a lot of things. Very much so, like, I'm an intern, can I shadow you? But when you're a real adult and it's like, can I shadow you? It's a little bit more difficult to get in that type of position. And like you said, what you put in is what you get out. You definitely have to apply yourself. It would have been great to get a lot more life skills, even starting from high school. Because, of course, there's a lot of things that we learned that aren't as much of a benefit to us. But hopefully, some things change along the way, because I think, like you said, even just us being like regular students, when you put money into the equation, it changes everything.
I mean, I feel like you can equate the athletes getting paid that amount of money to like students on scholarship in a sense, who are like getting paid back and not having to come out of pocket. So I feel like they're getting what they deserve, and I support it. And it should have been happened years ago, and they should low-key do reparations and go back to all those athletes that work their butts off and pay them too.
Right. Okay. Good point. Okay. So before we go to break, we're going to discuss one more quick little topic. So if you guys don't know, Drewski is a comedian. I would say he's like one of the younger comedians who's really made his mark via social media. He was in a public relationship with Instagram model Ruby Rose. So everybody was real hyped. They were like, okay, it's Fat Boy Summer. Like, Drewski's getting his thing. Like, and I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this. I swear.
Who said that?
I swear this is what social media said. This is what social media said. This is what social media said. They said it's Fat Boy Summer. We on it. We got Ruby Rose. Like, we good. Like, go shoot your shot at your longtime crush. And it's like, dang, y'all didn't have to do Drewski like that. But, like, okay, it was the whole little thing. Ruby Rose then came out. Let me read this message real quick.
What did Ruby say?
Ruby Rose came out and said, because they broke up, right?
Oh.
She said, and for the record, I never slept with that man. He paid for PR. He is funny and nice, though. I only give it up if I'm in love. I don't care how much money a blank got. I'm rich.
Oh.
LOL. So, when you hear that, right, just first and foremost, right, because I just want to talk about social media and its effects on relationships. I'm not going to talk about people because their business is their business, but I think this sparks a discussion, right? How do you feel about PR relationships, and how do you feel like social media, and we're going to keep it short and cute and quick because we do got to go to break soon. How do you feel like social media has affected relationships nowadays?
What's a PR relationship? I don't get it.
PR relationship is when, guys, I learned this too because I'm new to this whole space and I'm not involved with that, not doing that. Let me make that clear.
In negotiations with a PR.
That's
what it gave. I learned about this when I signed the contract.
Yeah,
that's what that gave.
I said, there's been a lot of PR relationships to help people's careers. Yeah, PR relationship is basically you have your public relations person and they kind of spark relationship that they know would help your career.
So the people have nothing to do with it. Like they don't know that they're being set up.
They usually that's the tea. I think they do because it's not like it's randomly going to be like, you guys are going to start dating. Like, it's very much so like, hey, I have an idea. If I can be with her, like, we'll go to the red carpets together. We'll go to the ceremonies together, that type of thing. Like, it sounds crazy, but this is real life. And this is why social media is fake.
I get it.
Please remember that.
I get that.
What do you get?
The money. Money makes the world go round. So if you were to tell me, look, I'm going to call homeboy, you go out, get you a nice steak, go to an award show, take a shot, post a picture, and you'll get X amount of dollars or X more followers, baby, I'm on his arm. Not me personally. Not me personally.
You're getting in the mindset of somebody in that situation.
Yeah, like if you think like an entrepreneur, I get how they think.
Wow. I don't think like that. I understand where she's coming from and I understand what she's saying because a lot of people do it. And that is so weird to me because I just feel like, and I say this all the time to my friends, the more you entertain something that's not for you, you prolong the process of something that is for you.
This is so funny. But I also feel like you have to evaluate where people are in that state. If I'm dating a man, like a sugar daddy, for example, if I had a sugar daddy, I know that's not going to be, my man. And maybe in that space, I don't want a man. I just want somebody who can pay my bills. Therefore, the sugar and the daddy. So, like, if you're in a PR relationship, you're not thinking, oh, this isn't for me, my lover, my husband, my ring. You're thinking, I'm paying the bills.
Right.
Let me go to this event and do what I have. I'm working.
Right.
Same way, like, if you do a collab and you get in the studio with somebody, you may not like the person, but you're going to rap on this beat because you're working. And it's crazy because
it's work.
I don't even have this stance. Like, if you were to ever come to me, like,
you would say never.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
looking in that
mindset.
Being
objective.
And it's so crazy. And, like, disclaimer, this is absolutely not how I feel. This
For
is
all
absolutely
PR
not how
to be her man, please.
Never that. This is not how Kiana feels. We're trying to get in the mindset of how these people think because regardless, like, this is real life for some people.
But also, Drewski never confirmed that it was a PR. This was from Ruby's point of view.
This is from Ruby's point of view.
So Drewski could have been in love.
And I was thinking that. I was like, what if, like, what if he was like, because like, especially, like, if you're on the other end, you're going to be like, nah, she liked me though. Like, I think she actually liked me.
The clip I saw, it seemed like he liked it.
But that's why social media is so fake because that's the clips that we've seen. We don't know what's happening
her coming out,
the clips.
No tea, no shade. Her coming out and tweeting what she tweeted she was on the, the other end of the PR. Like, it gave, like, she was the one helping him up, kind of.
But he's a comedian, though. So it's giving, like, she gonna be part of my skits.
I think he liked the girl. But hey.
Let us know what y'all think in the comments. I'm curious. But this goes to say social media is fake. Do not believe everything that you see. It's pretty sad because we see a lot of things. I just felt like,
would a man use a woman for a relationship though?
To make him look good? Yes.
I feel like women tend to do that, not
both
men.
parties will do. A man will do it and a woman will do it if it makes them look good. People do a lot of things.
I think he liked her. Well, he had me fooled. A lot of men have had me fooled in my life, so.
That's very true.
Back to you.
They be doing things. But regardless, how I feel is I just felt like maybe that didn't need to be said out loud through Twitter. Because why? Like, it was an agreement that y'all made behind closed doors.
Added an NDA to it.
It should have been finished like that. You know, that's how I think. But to each their own. I wish them the best of luck. They're both great at what they do.
Blessings.
And that's that. So, guys, we're going to go to break. When we return, we'll get into a little bit of NFL Week 3 predictions, specifically the teams that are 2-0 playing each other. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So we're going to get into 2 games this weekend that I'm super excited to watch. But before we get into that, it kind of segues into the Texans. I wanted to talk about this conversation between CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams. Everybody's talking about their post-game conversation. People are saying that CJ Stroud tried to lil bro Caleb Williams. I didn't see that at all. I think from what we've seen from Caleb being on the Bears, yes, he was the first overall pick. Yes, he was amazing at USC, but he's been struggling in the league, and that's okay. This happens at the beginning of the season. Hopefully he will be better for week 3. But basically, CJ Stroud went up to Caleb. He pulled him to the side, and he said, good job out there. Stop taking those hits. He said, come here. He actually had to pull Caleb back. That's why it kind of looks like a little altercation, but it wasn't. He said, come here, learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got is in you already, bro. You're going to be a hell of a player in this league. So then later, CJ Stroud had to explain himself and say he wasn't even trying to little bro him. He was genuinely giving him good advice because he has a lot of respect for him. I think that, and when I say sensitive, because when I say sensitive, that kind of has like a negative term. I'm not saying this to be negative to Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams is a little bit more sensitive. He's frustrated, okay? Like, his transition into the league isn't as easy as one expected. And of course, when you're used to winning all the time and then you get to play with the big dogs and you ain't getting what you used to, it's a little hard to adjust. Yeah, you don't want no puppy. You want a big dog. Like, it's a little hard to adjust. So I see the frustration there. And then you got this dude that just whooped me coming over talking about, yeah, bro, like, he like, man, you know. But I could see from CJ Stroud, it was all love. He genuinely wants to do good and put good into the world. He did explain that when he was playing earlier, you know, he had people coming and telling him advice, so he wanted to do the same. And I think that's a really dope thing to do. I think, you know, more players should have that brotherhood, be nice. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still a competition. We're going to have a little bit of space in between, but it's okay to tell somebody, you know, that you think that they're going to get better. Give them that kind of hope. Because, I mean, we've seen from Bryce Young a little bit, right? Ever since it was announced that he would now be benched for the Panthers, your confidence goes down. And we don't like to see that happen to these guys. We want to see good competition. We want to see those guys go out there and put out their best foot forward. So I think it's dope that CJ Stroud went to go up and tell Caleb Williams that he's basically rooting for him. At the end of the day, it's still competition. So CJ Stroud going to come back even stronger for this next game versus the Vikings. So my prediction, first, I will say that the Vikings did impress me versus the 49ers. Sam Darnold has been doing a phenomenal job, but I think that it will just be a phenomenal job for these first 2 games. No hate, no disrespect, but I think for game 3 versus the Texans, I think the Texans have it. You know, CJ Stroud is showing a lot of confidence. He's locked in. He hasn't even thrown an interception yet in the past 2 games that he's been. And already we're seeing that the Texans are going to be the clear winners in their division. The Titans, Jags, and Colts are all 0-2. Meanwhile, the Texans are 2-0. So they're starting off on a great foot and turning their season around. Yes, the Vikings are doing a lot better than we expected, but I still feel like with now and injuries, they don't have all the tools that they need to beat the Texans. So shout out to the Texans. If the Vikings can pull it off, I will be shocked, and that will definitely be a game changer. But this is going to be a super interesting game to watch, so make sure y'all tap in. And then the second one I want to talk about, the Steelers versus the Chargers. When I say this, I'm not even trying to be biased, and I know it's going to be sounding biased regardless, but the Steelers' defense right now is so good. We already know how TJ Watt performs. We already know how Alex Highsmith performs, Cam Hayward. They are doing a phenomenal job. They're not letting people run the ball as much as expected. And this is where I feel like it's going to get a little tricky because the Chargers have been also performing really well. Their defense has been doing phenomenal. They have a great run game, but I think it's going to be a little bit difficult with the Steelers defense. We got two pretty good defenses matching off, facing off against each other. And I think that this is going to be a good game. When I saw that Justin Herbert could potentially have a slight little injury that they're trying to kick under the rug, that made me a little bit nervous because I'm hoping that he can have a good game because I want to see a good game between both teams. But I do think that the Steelers will have this game, and I'm excited to see what happens on Sunday. Let me know who you guys think will win in the Texans versus Vikings and the Steelers versus Chargers. Those are my picks. Got to hear what y'all got to say. Moving along, this is our last topic before we close the show. So there's a viral video of Rihanna basically being asked in an interview what her lazy hair day looks like. She responded, "For me, my lazy days consist of throwing my stuff up in a scrunchie." She said, "I just want it out of the way, but you still got to keep it together because when Rocky comes home," A$AP Rocky, her man, "I don't want to look busted either. There's the first half of the day and then there's dad's coming home part of the day." So it sounds cute. I love it. But apparently a lot of people don't like that answer. So why do you think people are mad that Rihanna wants to come home looking good for her man?
I don't know. People are weird. Y'all are weird. Y'all are so odd. Because if she would have said something like pro-woman, people still would have been upset. So it's like, why can't I now love my man? Yeah. The father to my kids. Yeah. I can't look good for him.
Right.
I can't cook. I can't clean. I can't tell you how I got this right. Like, what is the problem?
Right. So the argument, because you guys know I got to look at both sides. It was saying many people were debating that women feel more pressure than men to look presentable for their partners. Never have I ever heard a male say he needs to dress up well in his own house to impress his lady. Never.
Yeah, because what is he going to do? Put on some lashes? Like, yo, let's be so for real. The standard for men and women is different and has always been different. What's going on? Like,
now, okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, right. I think a man should, like, it would be nice if you have your little haircut, like, you know, look presentable. Okay, you don't have to look bummy all the time because as women, we want to see you look good same way y'all want to see us look good.
Exactly.
But I do feel like we're losing the recipes. Oh. We're losing recipes, okay? Because I think that it should be okay for a woman to want to dress up for her man. I think it should be okay if a woman wants to treat her man, cook him a plate, you know, like make him comfortable. I feel like, I don't know what happened in society, right? But there's this big thing where it's like, men and women both like act like they don't want to impress each other.
Yes.
Like, I don't get that. Like, when did we come to a point where it's like, I don't want to look good. I don't want to smell good. Like, why is there this competition? Why does everybody want to be, you know, that center of attention? You know, like, I don't get that. Yeah. That's the recipes that we've lost because, like, I think that's cute that she wants to look good for him. Like, and you should. That's how I feel.
Against the argument, like, oh, men don't have the same pressure. They do. Like, if your man is getting up and going to the gym every day, you think he's doing it for crap and giggles? No, he wants to look good. Like, and if he's getting his touch up, if y'all go on date night, he wants to, like, if you're with a man who's not trying at all, who you think looks bummy, that's a very unique situation to you in your relationship. Because the men I know want to look good and succeed in
doing that.
Like, what?
Who's doing that?
I think the real question is where is Rocky going? Where's A$AP going 9 to 5? That's what I want to know.
Because why are you waiting till 6 p.m. to come home?
What are you doing? You're not in the studio for that long. And where's the album? What's A$AP up to? That's the real question. Because Rihanna's doing Fenty and everything from the house. But okay, internet. Y'all want to focus on her taking down her daggone scrunchie. Should have been asking where A$AP was at.
She said, I got questions. I can't even be mad because literally, where is you at?
Where are you? We're billionaires. Where are you going?
Let's dance. Literally. No, I can't even argue with that. But, hey, I don't care where he at. Because as long as he coming home for her, that's all that matters. Period. But I do agree, like, I think like a lot of things are like overly like sensitive. Like y'all will learn more and more, and that's why I love doing Check Out the Stats, so y'all can see more of my personality, because I always will keep it professional, always gonna keep it real, and I'm always gonna stay to the facts. But there are just some things that are not that serious. You have to be able to learn to laugh a little bit. You have to be able to take a joke, and you have to be able to relax. Like, why is everything so quick to be an argument? Like, Shawty just said she want to look good for her man, and y'all are mad because of gender roles? Like,
because people project their own stuff.
Like, it don't even got to be about gender. Like, if a man wants to look good for his man, go do that. If a girl wants to look good for her girl, go do that. If a man wants to look good for his girl, go. I don't care what the situation is. Like, I just feel like y'all should want to look good for each other.
And they're acting like Aesop said, "Oh, Riri, you look bad."
It was never giving that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy as hell. The scrunchies up, down, all around. Right. It's Rihanna.
Right. And if Rihanna can do it, we can do it. Y'all can do it. Like Rihanna.
No, they're just mad because they don't want to look. They don't want to take off the bonnet when man comes
Who
home.
Who said I gotta do this?
They're like, dang, now you up in this? Like, oh
wait, something.
Wait, I'm feeding the kids. I'm the one cooking and cleaning. Now I gotta look good too. Just say you're mad with you. Dang.
No, literally, that's really what it is. The standard keeps rising,
and they're upset,
people aren't ready.
And that's
for
not
it.
Your household. You don't have a makeup line.
At the end of the day, y'all, do what makes y'all feel good, and that makes her feel good, looking good for her man. And I would hope it's the same vice versa. This was a great conversation. Kiana, thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Maybe we'll do this sit back type of conversation once a month. Let me know if you guys like this format. This is just for the entertainment topics, but y'all know I'll be right back with the sports next week. But that's it for today's episode. Y'all can hashtag check out the stats so we can continue the discussion next week, and maybe your question or take will be featured. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.